Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is my third video for Bookmas, and this is going to be the end of the year book tag. I did not get a chance to do this yet anywhere on my social media, so I figured I'd bring it to you for Bookmas because it's a nice wrap up for the end of the year of pretty much everything that I read this year. So let's get into the questions. I'm gonna read it off my phone and I'll just post pictures on either side. I did not feel like going looking for the books, so it's just a quick and easy end of the year video. I absolutely love doing the end of the year book tag. I feel like it's just one of those tag videos that you just have to do on your channel as a booktuber. Back in the day, tags were like the thing, and there was a tag for every situation back in the day when I first started booktube, and with all like the OG booktubers, there was just weekly tags all the time. It just kept things interesting, kept things going. I don't know what happened and it kind of just fell off, but I do miss those videos, so let's try to bring some tag videos back. But this one seemed to just stay. You know, we have the mid-year book freakout tag, and then you have the end of the year book tag that kind of just hung around. So let's get into the questions. And I didn't even get to talk to you guys this year about a lot of the books that I did read, so this will be a lot of new, hopefully, information for you. So the first question is, and I actually got these questions from Destiny's channel, so I will leave her link down below if you haven't seen her videos. She's like hilarious. I just love this girl. She's so cute. But I took them from her, so I don't know if these are the exact questions, but this is more of like an updated version of what I had. So the first question is most disappointing read of the year, and for me that will be Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. I definitely have like mixed feelings about that author's like writing style, but I read the Once and Future Witches by her, and I really enjoyed it. It was a fun book, and I just really clicked with it at the time. So Starling House was geared as a haunted house book, perfect for like October, spooky season, and when I started reading it, I was like, this is not hitting. Like, the way that books are advertised these days, you can't believe a thing that they compare them to. Because once you get your hands on that book and you start reading it, it has nothing to do with what they were trying to sell the book as. So that's what I just felt Starling House was like. I was just not into it. Not great for me, so I unhauled it already. Second question is Underdog Book of the Year. For me, that was the beginning of the year, Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score, because I wasn't much of a romance reader prior to reading that book, and I believe I finished it in January or February, and I fell in love with the characters, the town, the writing, the author, everything about that book. So I will say that romance has kind of won me over because of that book, and I wasn't expecting that. The third question is a book that is overhyped, and that for me was Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I don't know what all you guys are obsessed about with that book. I mean, it was definitely a huge turning point for the genre, because I feel that, you know, we haven't had books about dragons in that field, so it's definitely like something different for everyone to get excited about, but I just don't see the excitement. I think there were definitely a lot better books out there to be excited about than Fourth Wing. I know that's such like an unpopular opinion. I'm probably gonna get so much stuff for that, but I just am not a big fan of the book. I'm going to pick up Iron Flame because I just have to, but I started reading it and I started feeling slumpy, so I put it down. I'm gonna save that for next year. But yeah, I don't get it, and maybe it's just me, but let me know if you feel the same way as I do, because damn, that book is overhyped. Number 4 is favorite book couples of the year, or couple of the year. I had a few. I would say like the couple from Things We Never Got Over. I really loved their dynamic. And I started reading the second book in that series and I just didn't feel the same connection as I felt with that first couple. I forgot their names already, but the main guy, he was a barber at a barber shop, so I thought that was cool. So I really enjoyed that. And also Peyton and Kai from Powerless. I really love them as a couple and their dynamic, way better than like what was happening in Fourth Wing. Like I definitely think the couple in Powerless could have been in Fourth Wing. I would have maybe liked it a little bit better. Question number 5 is favorite main characters of the year. I feel like this is like a spoiler, but I would say my favorite main character would be Aelin from the Throne of Glass series. And I'm just going to leave it at that because I did finish Kingdom of Ash in January. And that is my favorite book of all time. Yeah. Number 6, a book that surprised you. I would say Caraval by Stephanie Garber because it is not exactly what I expected from the book. I really thought that it was going to be this like carnival type book and very whimsy, like over the top whimsy, but it was actually a lot darker than I thought it was going to be, and it was definitely more up my alley. I really enjoyed the challenges in that book, and I can't wait to get into the rest of the books in that series, in that world. I think Stephanie Garber is going to be a new favorite author of mine. I really love her writing. It's beautiful, it's flowery, it flows, and you just get lost in the world. And I never thought that I would get that lost into a world as I did this year of reading Caraval, so that was fun. Number 7 is a new favorite author you discovered in 2023? Yes, that's right. I'm like, am I reading that right? I will say Lauren Roberts that wrote Powerless. I really love her writing style. I really love that book. It's one of my favorites of the year. I'm very excited to read more from her next year. But yeah, I would say that that's a new to me author that I really love, especially this year. Her book. Number 8 is Happiest Read of the Year, and I would say The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sengu Mandana. I really enjoyed that book. I thought it was a very like happy, warm and fuzzy read. The ending was beautiful and it stuck with me, and it was just a fun read. I read it back in February where it was just cold, and it was just very comforting to read. So I would suggest that if you're looking for a comfort read. But yeah, I would say that was like the most like happiest like feel-good book of the year. Number 9 is the most frustrating book you read in 2023. And I will say the most frustrating book that I read had to be House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. I'm still reading it. Still. I think I have 75 pages left, but I started it back in May, and it's just taking me that long to read. It's just that dense, and I don't know why I'm not enjoying it as much as I enjoyed the first book, House of Earth and Blood. Sarah J. Maas is one of my favorite authors of all time, and I just don't know what about this book is just not jiving with me. I think it's the establishment of like Bryce and Hunt's relationship that is just getting in the way of what I want to learn about the plot of the story and other characters of the story. So I just get a little tired of it and I put it down and I read something else. But it's been my background book for months now, and hopefully I can get it done before the end of the year. But yeah, I would say that's the most frustrating book for me. Number 10 is best adaptation of the year. I don't really know, like, I don't know if I've seen any adaptations. Have I? I'm trying to think. I don't really watch much TV. I guess if I had to pick one, because it's probably just one, would be the Shadow and Bone series on Netflix. I watched that earlier in the year and I actually really enjoyed it, and I'm quite upset that they canceled it. But I guess that could be it. But it's not like my favorite thing ever, but I did watch Hunger Games like a couple weeks ago, and I really liked that, so I don't know if that counts. Number 11 is the longest book that you read this year, and I would say Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J Maas, because I think it falls just below 1,000 pages or so. I think it's like 900 and something pages. So that definitely had to be the longest book I read this year. Number 12, the shortest book you read this year. And I don't know, like I don't read novellas necessarily, but I did read A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson, and I believe that was under 300 pages. So I would say that that was probably most likely the shortest book that I did read this year, which I really enjoyed that book as well. 13 is your favorite covers, like book covers this year. I absolutely love Powerless's cover with the dagger, and I think these are forget-me-nots, the flowers on here with vines. I love this cover. And the Throne of the Fallen, this one by Carrie Maniscalco, I think is probably my favorite this year. I don't know if I'm gonna love this book or not, but this cover is just so pretty. It's so girly and pink and so pretty. Number 14 is a book you haven't stopped thinking about, and I will have to say Kingdom of Ash again by Sarah J Maas, because I can't stop thinking about that series. All I want to do is reread Throne of Glass, which I plan on doing this month because I love that series so much. Number 15 is the cringiest book you've read this year. I don't even know. There's definitely a few. I did DNF a few books this year, like a lot of books this year, because I just didn't want to read books that I wasn't enjoying. I will probably have to go with Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune, because I read her first book. I forgot what the name of it was, but I really, Every Summer After, I believe. Really enjoyed that. I thought that was an excellent book, so good. And then when I picked up that book, it was just so boring, beyond boring, that I was just not having it, and it was pretty cringy, I will say. So we're gonna pick that one. Number 16 is unpopular book that you loved. I'm probably gonna go, even though this book was popular at one point in time and like a #1 bestseller book at one point in time, it's not popular at the moment. People are not talking about this author, but I will say The Princeless Thought by Anne Rice. I loved that book this year. So happy I read it. So happy that I'm interested in reading more of her books now. But yes, that was a very, very well-written story. I'm loving reading Anne Rice's books right now. So The Princeless Thought. If you're into vampire books, if you want to know more about vampire lore in general, pick up her books. Her writing is so easy. Even though it's dense, it's just flows. Like it's almost like Stephen King in a way. Like they could write my grocery list and I would be like, wow, that was beautiful. It's just the type of people that they are. Number 17 is, what was the highest and lowest rated books you read this year on Goodreads? Do you agree? The highest, I want to say, was Fourth Wing, right? Yeah, Fourth Wing was the highest. And no, I don't agree. I don't agree with its almost 5-star rating on Goodreads. I gave it a 3-star, and that was being nice because it did entertain me while I had COVID. So I will say definitely Fourth Wing. The lowest rated book would be The London Seance Society that I read by Sarah Penner. It has a 3.49 star. I gave it a 3-star. I agree with the rating that it has on Goodreads. It was good, but not great. It was entertaining enough to where I finished the book, but if it was any longer than what it was, I probably would have DNF'd it. Number 18 is favorite quotes of the year. I don't like tab my books, and I probably should, but I just feel like I read too fast to like stop and tab. I feel like it would take me forever to finish a book if I was tabbing and highlighting it the whole time. It's a lot easier on my Kindle to do that, but there were a lot of quotes in Powerless that like I just recently read that kind of stuck with me, but I don't know where they are in the book, otherwise I'd pick them out. But there were a lot of really great quotes in there that I loved. And of course, in Kingdom of Ash, I'm sure that there were a lot in there as well, but I probably should do that as like a New Year's resolution when I'm reading books, is just if I like something, mark it, highlight it, tab it, something. That would be good. Number 19 is book with the most unique concept. I mean, I guess I'll give Fourth Wing something, as in like a book about dragons that is popular, that has like, it definitely has like an original cool concept involving the dragons, especially with like the mind reading type thing. Sorry if that's a spoiler, I don't really know, but yeah, like that's pretty unique and cool. So kept me reading, even though I didn't love it. Number 20 is book you read that you would reread. Obviously, Kingdom of Ash, Powerless, anything by Sarah J Maas besides House of Sky and Breath, because of how long it took me to read. And honestly, I read Hellbent this year and reread Ninth House. I really love those books. I love Leigh Bardugo's writing, so I would probably reread that series again at some point in the future. Number 21 is reading goal reflection plus 2024 reading goal. My reading goal this year was, I want to say, let's see, what did I give myself? 55 books to read this year, because I just knew I was going to be busy and we planned on getting pregnant at some point. So normally I do 100 books, but I've only currently read like 39 books out of the 55. So I did not meet my Goodreads goal this year, for sure. I don't think I'm going to. Most years I do, some years I don't. I don't really dwell on it that much. I use it more as a guide to just kind of see what I'm reading. But to be honest, I've started and DNF'd so many books this year that I've probably technically read more than the 39 books, but I don't really count books that I DNF'd as read books unless I've read more than 50% of the book. But if I DNF it before 50%, I'm not going to count it as a read book. It's just not fair. And I may want to revisit it. So then, is it counted as a reread? No, because I didn't finish it. So that's my reading goals for this year. And for 2024, my reading goals are up in the air. I don't know. I'm gonna have a child, I'm gonna have a baby. So guess a lot of my friends on here, you know who you are. I know who you are because you're watching my videos. You guys have kids, so you work it out. Everyone works it out. I know I'll find downtime eventually, but just finding my routine in the beginning of the year is going to be tough. So there might not be as many videos or many books read. I'm going to try to do the audiobook thing since I've been getting a little bit more familiar with it and enjoying it. But yeah, so 2024 up in the air, but I do want to read a lot of things, especially the third book in Crescent City by Sarah J Maas. That is my most anticipated read for 2024. Anything after that, I just would really love to catch up on my TBR because I have a lot of books behind me that I have not read yet. So I would like to get to those as well. Lots of series that I'm in the middle of that I'd like to get through, decide if I like them, decide if I want to keep them, make some room on my shelves. Number 22, which is the final question here, is after 2023 reading, what are you prioritizing in 2024 reading wise? Which I feel like is kind of like the same question as the previous question, but what I am prioritizing is not reading books I don't like. So if I'm reading something and it's popular and I don't like it, I'm not going to force myself to finish it just so I could say at the end of it, I hated it. you know, knowing at like 25% in that I don't like it. Definitely not reading bad books. And unhauling more books, like unhauling books that I know I am never gonna read or just didn't like, but keeping for the cover. I'm not gonna do that anymore either, because it's just collecting dust. And I gotta make some room for my son's books too on my shelves. So prioritizing reading my current TBR, not purchasing as much books, going to the library more, using the library more. That's definitely a priority for me as well. I love my library, but I just buy books. It's a problem, but I really would love to utilize my library so much more. So that is it. That is all I have for you today for this end of the year book tag, my day 3 of Bookmas, Vlogmas, whatever you want to call it, for this year. I'm not gonna upload every single day, but this is my 3rd video for that. And yeah, so if there's any other videos that you want to see from me during this month, trying to get in as many as I can before I can't film anymore. If you like this channel and you want to see more from me, I'm back with videos. Please share with your friends. Get me back into the rhythm of things here. And all of my links to my social medias are down below as well, including my TikTok, my Pango Books page, my Instagram page. Feel free to DM me on Instagram with any of your book thoughts, things that you want to talk about. I'm always on there. I'm always scrolling. I'm always watching. And pretty soon I'll be stuck at home for quite some time, so I need some things to do. Send me some of your book recommendations for the new year. Let me know what you're gonna plan on reading, and let me know if you did this tag on your channel so I can follow up with your video as well. But on that note, I will be talking to all of you guys soon, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!